And we are live. Welcome back to another week of 2021 NA Apprentice Season 1 Code A. I just realized that I may have been muted on Discord, but it's perfectly fine. The people heard me. It's all good. I'm, of course, Light_VIP, and with me is mLty. Welcome back.
Hello, it's really good to be back. I'm very excited for our games today, and I had a mini panic attack just now. You were still muted, and then you came unmuted, and I didn't hear what you were saying, even though your light was lit up. So we fixed that. I think I don't have any technical difficulties, and I'm really excited for our games today.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really cool. As people can see, when it comes to Group A, we have a lot more Canada representation. I feel like that's something that we were lacking in the previous groups.
For sure.
But at the same time, it's also a bit of a shame. Like, the previous 2 weeks that we've had have been pretty good when it comes to overall, like, players showing up and competing. Unfortunately, when it comes to the remaining groups, there are a couple of walkovers.
Yes, I believe we have 2 in this group and then 3 in the other group. And so we're gonna, I believe that isn't the game plan to cast a total of 7 series tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
So because of that, like, that's why we are casting both groups today and not like one small group today and then like an hour broadcast next week or something like that. So it's all been consolidated here, and yeah, we'll most likely take a break in between each group if you're okay with that.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I like the plan. I'm glad we're discussing it now. Getting it out of the way. So it was just like randomly, hey, when do you think we should take a break over messages? But yeah, I'm excited.
It's all good. All right, are you ready? Are you ready to get into our first series today?
I am indeed. I'm loaded in. My sound is actually working, and I am ready to hit play when you are.
Oh god. All right, well, calm down. Okay. Here we go. And something that's interesting here is it's a little bit unfortunate, but this is the first and the only time we get to cast Albino today.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. That's very sad.
I hope he like, performs well here.
Yes, honestly, I agree. I want just a good showing. Even if he doesn't necessarily win the game, I hope that he shows good games for all of the fans.
All the fans. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, representing after M. Give it up for our teal Zerg player of Albino.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Light Shaded. Hell yeah, oh my god. Going for a 12 pool, we have the other Canadian player. He is blue, he is Zerg, representing Risen from the Gosu. It is Flood.
And this is interesting. This is not your ordinary everyday 12 pool. This is a 12 pool with a very early gas, guys. Now, this isn't the earliest possible gas you can get, because you can go for 12-11, and there's some very, very dirty all-ins. I believe Lambo has a video on 12-11. But this is still a very quick gas geyser and still very, very dangerous and needs to be respected, because what's going to happen is Albino's going to get across the map, and there might still be a hatchery down relatively quickly. And so when the Overlord gets here, I might think, oh, it's a 12 pool, the Lings are across the map, I don't really have to worry. Let me just do my standard 12 pool defense. But no, actually, there's Zergling speed and maybe Banelings on the way even. And so it becomes much more scary.
This is what I've been missing this week, some solid NA StarCraft, because I'll be honest, I don't know if I've been able to cast this variant before. Like, very often we see just 12 pull into a hatchery, it's just like a 12 pull to deal some damage, maybe kill a couple of drones, and then transition from there. But this is so much more committed, with already 100 gas being mined, and there we go, Link speed is on the way.
Nice. One thing I will note is he also pulled off a gas, and so there's no banniness, it's just a Zergling speed. And so he's looking for, I believe, a drone pool. I believe a drone pool is the incorrect response, as there are Zerglings of Albino on the way himself. I didn't even notice Albino went for an early pool. That's my bad.
Yeah.
But Flood will be on the front foot here.
I honestly was pretty lucky because he went for a gas pool like before hatch. Like I think the hatch was relatively like late, so because of that, like he already has units to defend.
Yes, these Zerglings are very nice, and Flood just looking to try and take good fights here, but doesn't really want to trade out yet. He's instead, Flood is waiting for Zerglings to be finished, and he's over halfway done, and it will finish first by the looks of it, I think.
Yeah, it should. I mean, thankfully, like, link speeds are pretty close between the two of them, so Albino should be able to defend. He even has his queen coming down the ramp as well.
Oh, it's so close. Man, like, maybe he could have, like, jumped on it and tried to DPS down Hatchery, but I am not entirely sure. That's a very risky play, especially considering you invested so much in the gas back home. And really all that both players are doing can be doing right now is making Zerglings, even though Albino has a small Zergling in drone advantage. Oh, no!
He gets this around as well. He gets all the links. And what's important is that Flood has not droned up at all still. Like, he still has 12 workers.
Yes, 12 workers I don't think is quite going to cut it in the super long run. There are Zerglings with Zergling speed now, so he's not going to like lose out his queen or anything, at least hopefully not. But still, it's like that 3-drone lead is going to like more and more let Albino get ahead, though he did lose an Overlord, so that is quite big.
Yeah, definitely. He is supply blocked at the moment. Thankfully, Baneling Nest is about to finish up, so he should be able to morph in a couple for the defense. Flood does have a slight army advantage, but like with the Banelings and the Queen, I think Albino should be okay.
Yeah, no, quite a big fight about to go down, and with the Banelings, it's going to be very, very close. I'm very curious. It looks like the Hatchery is going to go down, though.
Oh yeah, if he focuses it, it could go down as well, and oh god, he's going to get it.
Yes, really nice job here by Flood to get that hatchery. That really is one of the key things, letting him stay and get ahead in this game, as he does have to avoid this counterattack here, as there is a massive amount of Banelings being morphed on the other side of the map.
Oh,
as
God.
Are they going to all go down?
Are they? Looks like not even one is... Oh, no, one finishes!
Oh, no. All right. Had me scared. One finishes, but still not a huge connection. And on the other side of thing, lots of workers going down as the Zerglings. Oh, they're coming home. Flood, no, miss microing on the other side of things. Losing on quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, exactly. Like pulling back like that, I don't know if that was the best move again. Albino lost a lot at home already. There is one Baneling, decent connection, I suppose, but so many more are about to finish up.
This is just so many Banelings, but there are no more drones back at home, and there's no more money for drones. Albino has to win here and now. The Banelings are trying to get what they can done, as drones are having to be pulled, and unfortunately, just another Baneling it connects. But like, I don't know. I don't think Albino has a long-term plan in this game.
Yeah, exactly. There are just so many links coming back home for Flood, so they're going to be able to defend. Even though Flood has 4 workers, that's 4 more than Albino. Oh, but Albino, he has 2 Banelings! Oh god! Oh god! Okay.
He gets one. Oh no, he loses them both. It's like, worst case scenario, the Banelings, they could have been so big, but GG gets called, and Albino takes game number 1. What a first game.
Oh god, that honestly that was so close. Like, I didn't even realize he had 2 Banelings like waddling across the map. Like, if they had connected with those things, like, he totally could have won that. Like, that would
Yeah, that game was definitely in a very, very winnable position, but, you know, just a little bit of miss micro. And I feel like also if you had saved just like enough for 1 drone, there's a really, really weird world in which Albino could like kill almost all or all of the drones and then just like go home and be like, yeah, I have 1 drone, and you have, or maybe 2 drones, and you have 1 drone. So eventually I win, I hope. But we got game number 2. And I'm very, very curious to see what happens next.
Yeah, I'm honestly, that was a lot of fun. All the like, right, like if Albino had just done a couple of things differently, right, like either maybe even keep 2 Banelings at home for defense instead of running across the map with them, or something small like that, or maybe even just better queen positioning at home, better drone defense. But yeah, what a game number 1. And as you said, we are getting ready to get into game 2.
Well, that was very, very exciting. And, you know, it's always, I love NA StarCraft.
Yeah.
Always leads to an interesting game.
Definitely. as we are looking to get into game number 2. Oh, it is going to be on Pillars of Gold. And do you expect something similar here with another early pool?
My prediction is Flood's going to early pool again, but this time Albino's going to have a much better defense. He's going to get like uber, like perfect, like Cyril couldn't defend better, and absolutely crush Flood here. That's my prediction.
Okay, all right. 3, 2, 1.
And here we are spawning in the top right-hand corner. Give it up for after M, the Zerg player in the teal, Albino.
Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the other Canadian Zerg player representing Risen from the Gosu. This time making drones. Unlike his opponents, it is Flood. Oh my.
And you know, this makes me a little bit nervous. Going for the, I believe this is the 12 pool 11 gas. I wasn't paying the super like closest attention to it, which was my fault. But this is very interesting. I believe it is because it looks like the drone count. Maybe it's a 13, 12, not sure. Regardless, this is a very, very strong and early pressure from our teal Zerg here. And I'm very, very curious what he does with this. If he's going to go for Zergling speed and that's it, like Flood did last game, or if he's going to get in the main nest and be like, all right, so here and now I win or die by my micro.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll see how committed it's going to be. I do love the idea of, he gets like cheesed out or game 1 and now he's trying to turn the tables here. Again, like game 1 was so close between the two of them. We'll see if Flood has a little bit better defense here. Yeah, as I believe he did go for a hatch first.
Yes, it looks like he did. And one thing that is notable on this map especially is the overlord patterns. It's very, very easy to miss these Zerglings because they can just run around so well, and the time to get to the other side of the base is still ridiculously fast. And so really nice job by Albino here to run around. He avoids the overlord. He goes a bit of the longer way around, but still, they'll get to the other side of the map at roughly the same point in time as you would otherwise, and they're just more Zerglings being held at home.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is that he didn't pull out of gas after that first 100 for the speed, so he is committing to that bailing nest as well.
It's really nice, but the Zerglings are now on the other side of the map, and while the hatchery is done, these drones have been transferred, and so a couple of them getting some damage, light knocks, before Albino commits to the hatchery and is starting his engagement.
Yeah, and okay, Flood, he does get a couple of lings out. The queen is still a ways away, but it looks like Albino, he's getting ready to just surround the lings, and oh, he gets one.
Oh, that is such a sick play. He gets one. The drones are pulled, and these lings have Zergling speed. Can Albino come out on top here? I'm not sure. There's like so much here, but this is a really risky fight to take for Flood.
Oh my god, he loses his lings. One of the queens gets surrounded as well, and it looks like it should go down. There's not enough energy for transfuse.
Oh, here's not. It goes down, but the drones get pulled. Really, really crisp drone pull there. If he didn't pull exactly when he did, he could have like lost both queens and the game there. So really, really crisp defense, as there just really isn't much left on the other side of the map. For Albino, banelings are being morphed, but like, I don't know. This is making me nervous here.
Yeah, especially now that the spine is done, it has gone down the ramp, it's being rooted in the natural, and there's no hatchery for Albino. Like, he's looking to end the game.
Exactly. It is do or die time, and that spine does have to go down, as well as so many of the lings. Transfuse doing quite a bit before the banelings finally take it down. As there's one baneling, he's trying to keep it alive, but there's just so much here. So many Zerglings for Flood. It is very difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he gets focused down by the queen as well. These morphing in banelings, maybe one will finish up, but there's just so many lings for Flood.
GG. Really nice try about Albino. He did his best, but unfortunately it wasn't quite good enough. It's still really well played and very, I feel like, good decision making that game and that series. That's definitely, it's basically what I would have done. Like, oh yeah, I did something like a little cheeky early on, but I'll just do something super aggressive game 2. That feels like exactly how I would have played the series like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a shame, like how committed Albino was. It was like 100%. There was no like plan B. You know, it's just like I gotta end it here. And he had some nice moves. You know, he was able to catch a queen. He was able to catch some lings that were being hatched as well. But as you said, there was a lot of really sick drone micro on the side of Flood.
Yes, exactly. And just that drone micro is so easy to screw up if you like aren't perfectly on top of like pulling them right away and pulling them back. It is so easy to just like lose like 5 or 6 drones, and then suddenly you are so much farther behind.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely. And with that, congratulations, Flood. You know, he does take his first win. Unfortunately, that's the last we see from Albino. I honestly, I'm. It's a bit of a shame because I was thinking, oh, maybe like he kind of had a disappointing showing in game 1, and he thought like, you know, it's not worth showing up for the rest of it. But honestly, like that was pretty close. Like I'm impressed by how well he played against Flood.
Exactly. That was like really, really well done. I feel like he played well. Flood won the series, but I feel like that was the 2-0 result does not reflect how close that series was.
Definitely. So it's a bit of a shame that, you know, we don't get to see more of him today. Hopefully he comes back next season, whether it's in NA Apprentice or NA Contender. Hopefully we get to see more of him later on this year.
Agreed. But hey, you know, we have some more awesome players playing for you tonight. We got MogarFNSMASH playing against Rhizer, and I'm very curious to see how this TVP goes for us today. Light, do you have any predictions?
I would go as far as to say Rhizer is the more known player, I believe. Like he is, you know, a little bit higher up, I feel, in the tier list of NA players. But at the same time, I'll be honest, I haven't seen too much of Rhizer. Like I've seen him in brackets every now and then, but I'm not too sure how this matchup is looking for him. Obviously, Protoss have been doing pretty well lately.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'll give him the edge, but I'm ready to be surprised.
Okay, now for me, I am definitely going to be rooting for MogarFNSMASH. That's such a cool name, and I believe in his Terran powers. I believe he's going to just like out multitask the Protoss of Rhizer. I believe in him.
Fair enough. Oh god. All right, are you ready to get into the series?
I am indeed. Will you count us in?
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning in the top left-hand corner once again in the teal, this time playing Terran. Give it up for MogarFNSMASH.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the only American player in this group. He is the Protoss. He is the purple Protoss representing Archangel Gaming. It is Rhizer.
Yes, and looks like both players are doing fairly normal things. Probe Scout with the Gateway. Looks like a Rax then gas build out of Mogar. FNSMASH just super stock standard, and it looks like we're gonna have at least a decent length game. It's not gonna like be over, I believe, in like the first 3 minutes or anything.
Yeah, unlike the previous series where we had very obvious like early rushes, this is a lot more standard. Like there's no early workers out on the map, no kind of proxy or anything like that.
Exactly. And just things like as standard as they come, I like it. Although there isn't a super fast Nexus out of Rhizer, instead opting for a bit of a Cyber Core first, a little cheeky, a little bit of aggression. It looks like he might. Oh, does he get blocked? Oh, he gets the Nexus blocked. This isn't something you see every day.
It's been a while since I've seen this, but yeah, he goes for the NG block.
I love it. The probe is doing its best to micro and deeps down that SCV, but the SCV does run with 10 health remaining, and the NG bait is going to be quite a substantial block out of the Protoss economy.
Yeah, definitely. Like that forces Rhizer to get his Zealot out as well, which I'm sure he, would have liked to avoided, as like there isn't much use for it other than taking care of this engineering bay. Nice start.
Yes, exactly. And that NG, and like he could send it across the map with like an adept or something. But generally speaking, the Terran will have full walls, and like the CC is like on the high ground in this case. As we do have a little bit of a cheeky spray from Rhizer.
I love it. I love it. And also, it's interesting that Mogar is really respecting his opponent as well. Like, he delayed the natural, and the CC, he went for it on the high ground. So, like, he's, you know, making sure that it actually finishes up.
Yes, because, like, the worst feeling in the world is when you delay your opponent's Nexus, and, like, they make a Zealot, and they just, like, ride across the map, and then your CC gets delayed by, like, 4 minutes because... you made them make a Zealot.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there've been players who have fallen to that before. Scarlet, I remember a notable game like last year where like she went for an early pull or something against a Protoss, forced out a bunch of units. She lost her Lings, and then she like died to a counterattack of like 2 Zealots and like 2 Adepts or something. And it was like, oof, you know? Yeah.
It happens more than you'd think, and it's really easy to do because, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get my natural, I'm gonna like do my standard stuff and just like pretend it's a normal game, but like you did something cheeky, so it's not quite your standard game, and your timings will be just a little bit off.
Definitely. As we do see, Mogar is looking to finally get that expansion up and running. What's important is that he has been able to deny that Adept from going to the main base, has denied the scout of his production.
Yes, a really nice job just keeping that Adept out of the game. You really don't want to be showing too much. And like, he sees a group of Marines, but you always see a group of Marines. This is nothing new or interesting. So one thing that I will note is that Adept does go down, and there is that Oracle that's going to be looking to get a bunch of scouting info here.
Yeah, exactly. All the Marines were drawn to that Adept at the natural, so there is no like anti-air here into the main base, so some workers will be going down.
Yeah, we've got 3 so far. Make that 4, and grabs a 5th on the way out. But there's just so many Marines, and the Oracle goes down. That is not quite what you want to be seeing today.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, 5 worker kills for an Oracle, it's not the worst thing.
Yeah, no, not the worst thing, but that Oracle can be useful later on, like to get Revelation. But definitely 5 workers is worth it. It's quite a hiccup to the Terran economy. Because workers only produce 1 at a time, and there are. Notably on this side of the map, Void Rays, which I am very excited to see.
Oh yeah, we've been seeing a lot more Void Rays recently. It's also important to note that Rhizer was able to scout all the production, saw that there was like a very delayed starport, so is aware of the heavy ground army, or at least he should be. And I'm a little bit concerned. Oh my god, the boys are being pulled! He gets flooded!
Oh no, the Adept sees the boys being pulled. That Adept's going to go into the main base. Does he get the deep up in time? He does. So the Adept's going to be locked out as these boys and Marines. I feel like this has the opportunity to deal so much damage here. A bunch of shield batteries are going down, though. I'm very, very nervous to see what happens on this fight. I feel like you do need to slightly push in from a distance if you're going to not end the game right away.
Yeah, exactly. There are 4 shield batteries on the way, and they are finishing up. Overcharge will be available as well, but there are only a handful of units. Ooh, nice target fire in the tanks, though.
Now, both tanks are going down, and then none of the Void Rays die. All the SCVs die. And really, like, I don't think Mogar got, like, too much there. Like, if we look at the unit tab, there's, like, a good ground army, but, like, not much else here for the Terran.
Oh yeah, that was honestly insanely well bed by Rhizer. Like, he saw like how many racks there were, he saw the factory, he's like, okay, like there's something coming, I need to prepare, and he started up 3 shield batteries. When he saw the SCVs, he threw down 2 more. He's like, yo, this is serious, I need to hold here, and he barely lost anything.
And really well done, that super battery overcharge really coming in clutch. Like, basically nothing died. Really nice job by Rhizer to just like keep everything going, and I'm loving this follow-up of the robotics bay. Like, Disruptors and Colossi are both going to be very, very good in this ground pounding army that or against this ground pounding army that Mogar has built.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you're a Mogar at this stage of the game, like, what do you do? that was how many? Hold on, let's just quickly check the units lost. 13 SCVs went down in that attack. We see he's almost down half the worker count of Rhizer. I was about to say he's working on a 3rd CC. He's not even working on a 3rd CC yet.
I know, no third CC, just like, yeah, I'll build a bigger army, and don't worry, I'll pull more boys. Got this.
He gets spotted by the observer. Oh no.
Worst case scenario, more boys get pulled. There are like a starport this time and some medevacs keeping this game, but there's a Colossus on the way and extended pew pew. Like, is this really gonna be the play here? As Nexus does get canceled, so that's really nice. Rhizer committing to the 2-base defense.
Okay, so there will only be one Colossus. Extended Thermal Lens may not be ready for this attack. Maybe if like the perfect Widowmine shots go off, but he already loses one.
This is so nerve-wracking. He goes and he sees there's no Nexus here, and so it is do or die in the natural with 5 shield batteries already built. This is... Mogar has to win this fight.
He's stepping forward. He's going to be burning the Widowmines. Maybe, just maybe, he can get on top of this army. He can barely kill one Void Ray though. Not even.
The shield batteries doing so much there. The super batteries, just nothing dies. The whole army gets wiped and GG gets called. Well played by Rhizer to withstand the pressure there from Mogar.
Hey, nothing died. That was insane. Yeah, you could see it. He was target firing that Void Ray. He was like, all right, let's do this, and it just wouldn't die.
Yeah, no, nothing dies under the watch of the super battery.
Oh my god. Wow.
I feel like there is a way. I've seen an occasional Terran player pull the boys, but how they do it is they pull from a slight distance. So like they make bunkers and siege tanks. They're basically like, all right, so we're going to set up shop right here in your outside of your base. We're just going to like build a whole bunch of bunkers and have our siege tanks, and we'll build missile turrets even in case. And we're just going to contain you and very slowly push forward. Mogar instead opting to just kind of go for it, which is a very strong option sometimes. But like if with 5 shield batteries, that makes it a bit rough.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it can work, but Rhizer he had just such good vision that entire game. Like he knew everything that Mogar was doing.
Yeah, no, that Rhizer just like he knew everything. Like the adept coming in at the worst possible time, getting the perfect scouts, and unfortunately, StarCraft is sometimes just a game of vision, a game of scouting information.
Yeah. We all know that all too well, especially when it comes to our own ladder games. It's always like, especially when it comes to Protoss, I should say as well.
Yeah. That reminds me, I am ready to go when you are, but there was this ladder game I played a couple of days ago where Protoss, he didn't take a natural, he just like took a rich Vespene base and just like, yeah, I'll just expand here and be fine.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sometimes that can happen, but we are here. We are ready for game number 2. 3, 2, 1.
And here we go. Spawning in the top left. It is the left-hand corner representing Team Blazer. Give it up for Mogar.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the American Protoss. He is purple. He is representing Archangel Gaming. It is Rhizer.
Yes, and this game we have no super insane proxies, and so it looks like the game will extend for at least a little while as... Wait, that's not quite right.
Oh boy, I love this. Okay, so Mogar is being very cheeky.
Yes, I absolutely love it. He's getting the full wall off, and he's not even finishing the default. So this looks... you can do this, and you can just like have a completely normal, like just CC on the high ground and go for like a super cheeky play here. I believe Innovation did this to Zest. It was almost this exact build. So I'm very, very curious, and the probe sees nothing.
When I think of this build, I think of Innovation and Time, because they do this, as you said, whether there's like Raxes behind it or just a CC on the high ground. Like they just want to keep the Protoss in the dark.
Exactly. I really, really like it. This is just such an interesting build because like it looks so normal. Like it's just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna like my CC's on the way. Everything's fine. Just relax. No, I'm not like making 5 racks and all letting you. What are you talking about?
This is like 5 racks. Jesus Christ. Oh boy. So like Rhizer, like obviously alarm bells must be ringing right now, as in the fact that like he doesn't know what's happening. Like he right now the #1 priority for him is to somehow get into that main and see what's going on.
Exactly, but that is being denied. Mogar just denying all the information, and like Rhizer could like just go back and like maybe get like a super safety battery, but like he's not. He's like, yeah, no, so you're just like building a natural. I'll call you on your bluff.
Oh, I don't know about this, mate. Like, he's got a Stargate on the way. If he goes for an Oracle, I don't know. Especially if he goes across the map and it isn't at home to defend.
You know, like, even if he goes for like a Void Ray or something like this, just makes me nervous. If you're a Rhizer fan here, I feel like Mogar is in a really good position to take game #2 because like there's an Adept that's like is going to see some Marines, but is that really going to be enough?
Yeah, it's like something should be tipping off because like he didn't go for a Reaper Scout, right? Like that's a little bit off. The amount of Marines, maybe you can assume 2 racks, but like you would never guess 5. Like that's crazy.
You know, and the Adept it sees there's still no natural base, and there's a small chance like, oh, maybe he's like going super metagame, taking the 3rd base or something. But still, like Rhizer just like not in a position to see an he pulls back. I love it.
Oh god, and the Adept does commit in. He sees a couple more Marines, so he is a little bit aware of that, but okay, he at least throws down 1 safety shield battery.
I love it. And he doesn't even finish the shade. He's keeping this Adept on the other side of the map as everything goes, but he misses it. He's not going to see it.
Exactly. That was the worst time to move the Adept to the side, as he doesn't see anything. The boys are pulled. The Marines are on the way. The Oracle sees a glimpse of it. But I don't think he saw it.
There's nothing here.
Oh, okay, he turns around.
He turns around. The Oracle is on the way home, as there are Marines here to do quite a lot of damage. That is a significant amount of shield damage taken. The shield battery does heal it up, but there's just so much here on the ground. A Void Ray on the way, and I don't know if this is enough.
Yeah, he just completely abandons his natural. He's trying to get a full wall of. Ooh, I like this. He's throwing down the Stasis Ward, but will it be enough?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see as Mogar is trying to get in, and the first of the pylon goes down, and the SCVs get the Stasis Ward. That's such a nice play, and just Mogar, he is here.
Exactly. It looks like the Void Ray will just barely come out. The boys are pulled as well. Everything is on the line here for Rhizer.
And it's going to come down to the fight. Do the Marines deal enough? The Adepts are shooting away. So many probes are going down.
And oh my god, it looks like he's done it.
That's GG. Wow. Rhizer takes the game. What a weird game.
Wow, GG. I'm surprised as well. Like I was not expecting that. Like the Void Ray didn't really come into play. He got focused down immediately, but he had 5 Adepts, and I guess Adepts are pretty good.
You know, Adepts in the pro pool, they were just like enough to get the job done. And what like, cause like what a weird game, cause like Mogar, he did, excuse me, such a good job of hiding that and hiding the fact that it was a all in like that. Yeah, no, well played by Rhizer, just like able to clutch it out.
Yeah, exactly. Just really well played. I mean, we came into the series expecting him to be the favorite, and I guess Mogar thought so as well. As both games, he just went for straight like all-ins. You know, he wanted to end it as soon as possible, and I guess he did, just not his way.
Yeah, unfortunate how things happen, but sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. We do have a very exciting PVZ and next on our hands, Rhizer versus Flood, America versus Canada, a rematch of the War of 1812, and I'm very curious to see who comes out on top.
Oh yeah, the war of 1812.
Yes, the one war that Canada and US fought. Last time, I believe it was a Canadian victory. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've taken a history class. This time, I do believe the Americans are going to come out on top, though.
Fair enough. When you're in a conversation with someone from not in America, you're like, yeah, the war from 1812. I'm like, what happened in 1812? Okay,
there was a war, just the one.
Fair enough. Oh god, but we are getting ready to get into our first ZVP. Are you good?
Yes, no, I am. I'm just laughing at myself. I'm ready when you are.
3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, representing Arga NA. Give it up for the purple Protoss player of Rhizer.
And spawning in the top left, we have the Canadian Zerg player. He is blue. This is what we saw from him last series in a different matchup, but he's doing it again. Going for the 12 pool. It is Flood.
I forgot that we might not necessarily load in on the same side of the map. And so, yeah, I was, because I have the stream up on my side of things, and I saw you were like hovering over Flood. I'm like, oh no, I might have screwed something up. But now this probe, yeah, speaking of, gets on the other side of the map and is going to scout out this 12 pool. So, nice job by Rhizer to get all the info.
Yeah, nicely done. He will spot this. This is a little more of a like quote unquote standard 12 pool. Like Flood should be going for or attempting to go for an expansion, but Rhizer, he's doing the best he can to deny that.
Oh, it's a really nice job. This pylon block is super important. Because if you just let the Zerg get the natural up for free, then your defense on the other side of the map just has to be so much cleaner in order to stay ahead. As the probe goes down, which isn't quite what you want to see, you generally want to keep that alive for like re-scouting, but finishing this pylon is absolutely the correct choice here.
There we go. The pylon does go down, but as you said, like this does buy time for Rhizer, and he should be okay at home. He is chronoing out his zealot. Should come out in time. The wall should be here, and we'll see what kind of damage Flood can get done.
Yes, this is going to be a very, very tight. I feel like Flood is gonna struggle to find a lot of damage since it's a tight wall. And the Cyber Core is really well positioned, so like you can't deal too much damage to it. However, it's still a bit difficult to do really much of anything because there's an Adept on the way, but like the Zealot really has to watch and babysit the wall. You cannot let any of these Zerglings get in because otherwise it goes so wrong so quickly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, but with 2 Zealots, he should be perfectly fine. Like even if one of them gets surrounded, he's got his buddy to back him up. So Rhizer, yeah, he holds quite well.
And nice job. And the Chrono will get 2 Adepts out at the same time. And so these 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts, I feel like they can do quite a lot of damage on the other side of the map if Flood isn't careful.
Oh yeah. This is yeah. Again, that's Scarlet flashbacks where if you commit too much and maybe you lose your lings, then you just drone up behind it. Then this could deal a lot of damage. But of course, Flood did send his lings back home, so he should be okay defensively. But yeah, he didn't really get much at all out of his initial opener.
Yes, and so it does one thing that is nice is it does provide a different game. So Protoss, like especially a lower level Protoss, these 2 Adepts are going to get in and get a couple of drone kills here, which is very nice. They do get surrounded though. So that was I believe it was like 3 or 4 drone kills. So very nice. But as I was saying, this does provide a different game. So like for slightly worse off Protoss players, it'll just help throw off all the timings, and it might miss a pylon or get a supply block here that they wouldn't otherwise would. But still, like Flood is definitely needing to play a little bit of catch up here, I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say that like already a good job like getting us around on those adepts. I honestly didn't think that was going to happen, so he was able to shut that down at the cost of 4 drones though. And really, I'm just waiting for like when Flood decides to take his third. It does feel a little bit late, but okay, he's going for it.
Ask and ye shall receive. Flood providing that third base right as Light starts to mention it, and I am very curious to see if this is going to be like a mass Stargate play, or if he's going to play more like into Colossus like the last game.
Yeah, I'm very curious as well. Like again, I'm not too familiar with Rhizer or a lot of the NA Protosses, like, so I'm not too sure if they've embraced like the mass Void Ray style, like double, even triple Stargate. We've seen a couple players, you know, mess around with, or like he could just go into a Twilight Council from here as well.
Yeah, and so this is definitely an interesting game. We do have a Void Ray into Oracle, which isn't the most common thing, but a third base is being taken, and Rhizer just kind of wanting to play it super safe, as Flood even getting a Spore Crawler to play it safe on his end of things. Everyone absolutely cutting no corners, refusing to like, hey, I want to like get into the late game and let's play it out there.
Oh, and we just got confirmation it is going to be at least a double Stargate coming out from Rhizer.
Ooh, I really like this. I feel like Void Ray openers are just so strong right now, and they're so difficult for your Zerg players to deal with, just because lots of Void Rays, when you don't expect them, can deal quite a bit of damage.
We may be a little bit biased as Zerg players ourselves, but
just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but yeah, Void Ray openers are all the craze right now. We do see Flood is attempting to counterattack with links across the map, but Rhizer, he's got a shield battery here, like he's perfectly fine.
It's a really nice job, and I believe like almost all the links will die. Like 3 get away from the initial bunch, maybe 2 as Void Ray gets another one. But there's still more links here, and they can do quite a lot of damage. As an Oracle went and got 4 kills apparently while I wasn't paying attention at least.
Oh yeah. The Oracle is still alive, looking to dive back in again. Something that I want to ask you though is, what is your preferred method of dealing with double Stargate? Like, do you prefer like the more mass queen style, or do you like go for Hydra timings or something of that nature?
All right, so this is a little bit of a spoiler in case anyone plays me in MSL, but you know, I've been doing this for a while on ladder, so feel free to give it up. And so I actually go for 2-base Hydra. I go for a 2-base very quick layer, and then I just make a bunch of Hydralisk, and it just completely shuts down any and all pressure from that any Stargate players can do. So it just makes like the defense so much easier, because I just have this like really strong group of Hydras like so early on, and you can even like turn it into an all-in and just like make a whole bunch of Zerglings behind it and Flood if you so desire. But it's just, it creates a different game because people aren't quite used to the 2-base Hydra, and it also lets me occasionally go 2-base Muta, which is my favorite build.
obviously
yeah, you know, standard, completely standard,
100% standard. We do see Flood, he isn't going for 2-base Hydra, but he is going for Hydras nonetheless, as the Hydra Den is done and Hydras are on the way, prioritizing those upgrades as best he can. But yeah, he is being a lot more macro focused. Like, there's already a 4th on the way. Thankfully it's here to the south, so it isn't under threat to those Void Rays to be cancelled.
Yeah, really nice job. The Oracle does eventually go down to the nice group of queens here, but the Void Rays are just, I feel like they're going to get quite a bit here, because, like, yeah, there's a Hydra and some Lings in the main base, but those aren't really going to stop these Void Rays, as all the queens have to position up here.
Yeah, thankfully they do reposition. There is some energy for Transfuse, but the high energy queen does get focused down.
Oh, just barely not getting that high energy queen. Transfuse is coming in super clutch there, as that was quite a lot of damage onto the shields and hull of some of those Void Rays. Rhizer having to back off for now, as just Flood, I feel like, is getting into a better and better position.
Oh yeah, like there's so much power with these Void Rays early on, but as time goes on, like the Hydras are a very nice counter to them, and the Hydra count is slowly getting higher and higher.
Yeah, this Hydra count, like as it grows and grows, as more time goes on, the army of Rhizer, at least the Skytoss army, it gets weaker and weaker. But on the other side of things, there are a lot of gateways finishing up right now, a lot of warp gates, and there's Storm on the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do like that Rhizer isn't being too greedy. There are some Protoss players who enjoy like rushing out Fleet Beacon as soon as possible, and maybe like skipping, like cutting corners a little bit, not getting as many gateways, not getting Charge or Storm anywhere near as quickly. But Rhizer, he's not that kind of player. He is getting them. He is securing that AoE, that anti-Hydra army that he's slowly working on.
Exactly, and he's just also building such a nice ground army that it's going to make it difficult for Flood to really do too much on the ground, as since Storm isn't quite done yet, he's going to run into a couple of problems. This is a lot of Hydras on the other side of the map.
Oh yeah, this is a very nice timing. As you said, Storm was not done. All the High Temple were forced to be turned into Archons, and the Void Rays are starting to fall.
Yeah, the Archons are doing what they can. More Zealots are warping in. However, there's just a stream of Zerglings heading across, and upgrades are finishing up. This is a really well-timed attack. I feel like Flood got quite a lot out of that.
Definitely. Like, even though Flood, like, is forced back and Rhizer was able to defend, like, forcing all those High Templar to be turned into Archons, like, in and of itself, that was great, you know? That means they don't have enough energy for the next attack.
Exactly, and so if you just rebuild, get a large Hydra army, maybe this time bring all the queens that are at such high energy into the attack as well, I feel like Flood can really kill your Protoss opponent now, as Protoss is trying to take a fourth base, and that means they're quite vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, there isn't going to be a whole lot here.
Exactly, like the stack defense is only just now being thrown down. The creep spread is pretty decent as well. Like, it's not that far of a walk for the queens to move off of creep. So I do hope that for the next attack, those queens are like taken into account, because like there are so many of them here on the front line.
Exactly, they're just right here. One Zealot goes and scouts this army out, but the queens are not quite moving along with this army, and I feel like Flood is almost losing his window of opportunity here, as more of these static defenses are getting up, and there's just going to be a bigger and bigger army here, and that's going to cause more and more problems.
Exactly. Not just that, but like as time goes on, these High Templar, they'll have energy for more than one storm each as well, and that's going to be devastating for the ground army. We do see, though, Rhizer is pushing out into creep, going to force an engagement.
Yes, a couple of the early Zealots are going down to some Queens and Banelings. However, there is a nice counterattack on the other side of things, as Rhizer has to back up.
Yeah, and the Zealots are going to be focusing down this hatchery, and it looks like they may just barely force a cancel on.
Oh, kill, not a cancel. What disappointing. Flood just like not... Flood thinks like, oh, I got this. However, there are Zealots in the main base causing havoc. A queen goes down, lots of drones going down, and that is a massive warp in.
Exactly. At the same time, the main army is pushing into the center of the map, but he's going to get surrounded.
Oh, really beautiful storms get on almost everything. However, is it going to be enough? There's still quite a large number of Hydras, and this army has to be recalled. And I feel like even though these Zealots are doing so much on the other side of things, I feel like Rhizer is just not in a great position here after everything is said and done.
Exactly. He was doing so good with this counterattack, pulling apart the army of Flood, but Flood was still ready for the main engagement. He got a surround. He dealt with every single High Templar. Like, that was the best fight he could have hoped for. Yes,
resources lost. Rhizer is a little bit ahead, but a lot of that is due to the fact that those Void Rays did get recalled out. However, losing out on so many High Templar and High Templar storms, and as this base is coming in fire once again, 5th base canceled this time around, but man, this Warp Prism is so annoying.
It is. Oh god, that's a bit of a shame. There isn't enough creep here to really chase it down, and it looks like it will get into dead air. Yeah, I don't think there's enough range to kill it. Is there?
Is there? Oh, barely. Oh, maybe. Barely.
Feels bad, man. Yeah, it's just out of reach. You know, a solid recall, and Rhizer can bring it back home, or he could just leave it here and wait for an opportune moment to dive back in.
Yes, and one thing I would like to point out is we have DT Blink on the way. So
my.
Fear Dragon somewhere is super excited.
He's smiling and he can't stop and he doesn't know why.
Yes.
Oh god. Not just that, but we did see that after all the back and forth, you know, finally Rhizer, he has his fleet beacon. He's starting to get into that Skytoss army. I'm surprised, not just your regular Skytoss, but he's also got his mothership on the way.
I really like the mothership because, like, yeah, there is a meme that's -400, -400, but like, as a Zerg player, you have to invest so heavily into dealing with it. As there is that War Prism doing his best Houdini impersonation. As it is, looks like it's gonna get out, and these Zealots are gonna die, unfortunately. But if the War Prism escapes, I feel like that would have been worth it.
I cannot believe it escapes. It barely had any health, and somehow, some way, it just juked and jived its way through all the Hydras. There were like 3 Hydras and 2 Queens in the main as well, and just made it through. Oh god, he's going back in. Oh god!
Oh no! Oh, the Houdini or Prism not quite able to make it out this time around.
No! I don't know if you just saw that. He just manually detonated all his Banelings.
Oh, I completely missed it. Oh no, that is horrible. Oh no.
I've been there before. God.
I have too. That's like the worst feeling in the world. Especially when like you're a little bit behind. It just like it makes everything go from bad to worse. Like I've actually just like said, you know what, that's enough for the day. Just like GG, unplugged.
Oh god.
That's it.
Okay, thankfully he remade the Banelings, and he's gonna try and go for another surround.
Really nice surround here, getting quite a massive flank here. And the Banelings are going to deal so much damage on the ground. However, just everything is cleaned up. There were not enough Hydras. DTs on the other side of things, and GG does get called. The Flood taking a loss as Rhizer wins game number 1.
GG, and even though I'm a Zerg player, like that was a pretty beautiful game. Like very back and forth. Like there was harassment going on all over the place, but for the most part, Flood was able to keep up with it.
And a Flood, I feel like he just like needed one more like injection of drones, and he would have been okay. Like I feel like if Flood had time to like get another like what is that, 12 or so drones, just like in his economy, just like had that time to build that up, I feel like he would have been in such a nice position. Unfortunately, Rhizer taking game number 1. Unfortunately for Flood and all you Canada fans out there, but Team America does take the game, and I'm very curious to see if Rhizer is going to go for Sky Toss once again. What do you think?
I would imagine so, right? Like, why not? Obviously, a Protoss has a lot more like variety when it comes to their builds that they can go for. But at the same time, after game number 1, like, why not do more of the same? You know?
Exactly. I definitely feel that. As a Zerg player, I kind of hate it because it makes me cry inside, and sometimes outside if I'm especially tilted. But man, Sky Toss is pretty good, so you know, gotta use the good strats.
It is. We could also criticize Flood as well, that like he had a lot of bases, but I didn't get to see like his hive timing, and so I didn't get to see like whether like some of the units that he was missing were things like Vipers, right, to help deal with those carriers and like isolate them from the rest of the army. Lurkers as well to help zone out the ground army, who was just relying on nothing but Hydra-Link Bane until the end.
Yeah, and that's like always a little of a feels bad moment, because like you kind of need that next tech to properly deal with Sky Toss.
Yeah,
but maybe because Flood was like a little bit behind, it just snowballed out of control, I guess.
Definitely. As we are getting ready to get into game number 2, here we go. It's going to be on Jagannatha. 3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning in the top right-hand corner. It is once again the Protoss player playing for ARG NA. Give it up for Rhizer.
Oh god. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE. I do apologize. It was a bit of a mistake there on my part. We have the Canadian Zerg player. It is Flood.
All right, so I was watching the stream, and I feel like you accidentally hit fast forward. And also make sure you're in game. So what time are you at right now?
I am at 1:12, 13, 14, 15. You you caught me off guard again with the player intro, so I panicked a little bit, and that may have happened. But okay, we're good.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Once again, Zerg players are going for the 12 pool, as I just hit 133 just to make sure we're on the same page. As Flood, bit of a timer, so maybe playing much more aggressive this time around. As Rhizer is going for that full defense, he's chronoing out Zealots, and oh no, a supply block at really the worst possible time.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, he is going for the same opener, and I mean, Rhizer pointed it out himself. He pointed it out, so I mean, he should be okay. We have the second Zealot on the way as well. As long as he doesn't, you know, somehow let the Lynx into his base, he should be okay.
Yes, this is just like such a nice build as a Zerg player, because it just feels like you can very easily get quite a massive response, and you can easily get the win as the Zealot Uno. Maybe not quite in the perfect position. However, there were the second Zealot popping, and so you don't want to lose any Zealots or too many Zerglings, really. As a nice job by both players to not like to try and maximize their potential for damage.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay. So in the end, Rhizer, he was able to defend quite nicely. The Cybercore did get a little bit low, you know, already at half health. Will that come into play later? Maybe. We'll see. It's a bit of a shame. Like, knowing that Flood has to go to work soon does mean that we may just see an all-in from him. I can't imagine he's going to embrace the late game as much as he did in game number 1.
You know, late game, like Flood definitely did like try for some very, very interesting strats. Playing with a just pure Hydra, you kind of really want that like next stage of tech. And so I'm curious if he's going to sit on pure Hydra again, or if he's going to like, you know what, I'm going to get like dragged, like unwillingly kicking and streaming into like some late game with maybe some worker beams or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he has planned at the moment as the Adepts do come into the main base once again. This time, they're getting surrounded by drones, so even more go down.
Yeah, 4 in total drones, I believe it was, before the Adepts do manage to go down. That was a really nice damage, creating quite a lot of havoc for our Flood Zerg player here.
Yeah. And once again, I was concerned about that third base timing, but he's going for it, so he is still looking to expand. I'm honestly surprised. I was expecting him to go for like maybe a more committed 2-base all-in or something along those lines, but no, he's just macroing up like normal. I appreciate it.
You know, I personally, if I have only 15 minutes for a game of ZVP, I go for like 2-base Muta. And it's like, because it creates such a weird game, although it's really difficult to play both like against and control the units, because if you make like one mistake, you'll lose all your mutas to Phoenix.
Yeah.
But it creates a very quick game at the very least. So maybe like some cheeky 2-base layer play was a way to avoid like, hey, I have work in 15 minutes. But
yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
I'm pleasantly surprised by what he's going for. Obviously, once again, we have a Stargate opener. I would imagine we're gonna see a second Stargate. It'd be crazy if Rhizer switches things up. We'll see as Flood is going for his lair once again. So far, everything looking kind of similar to the last game.
Exactly. As is Oracle getting so many of these Lings killed and just like preventing really anything from happening across the map. Really nice job by Rhizer to stay on top of things and to micro that as a Roach Warren, which is a bit different. You didn't see a Roach Warren last game, so maybe a Roach all-in is how this goes down.
Yeah, it definitely could work. I'm a little bit concerned because like it is a double Stargate opening, so we're gonna have a lot of Void Rays. You're gonna have to like hit a crisp timing, you know, before the Void Ray count gets too out of hand and like go across the map with those Queens and with those Roaches and Ravagers. It definitely can work though, and we do see pneumatized Carapaces on the way.
Ooh, I like it. Maybe he's going for that like Queen drop build, the German Taxi, that's what it is. Off of a 12 pool. And that might be what the play is. That might be how Flood decides, hey, this is how I'm going to win this game, make or break it before my work timer that he has imposed on himself.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like, it sounds like a solid plan. He has a decent amount of Queens. And there we go. Here come the Dropper Lords.
Yes, I really like the Dropper Lords on the way. This is just such a fun build to do as well. There's a version you can do off of 2 bases. It hits a bit faster, but you make Banelings instead of Roaches, and so it's going to provide an interesting game here. As not only 4 of the Queens get picked up, 2 of them not quite making their taxi on time.
Oh god, yeah, they're running to get caught up. I'm a little bit concerned because of this Oracle, but the Oracle does miss the Overlords. He is unaware of them, but does see the Roaches and Ravagers.
Yeah, and so that's quite a large army, and you do see it like moving across the map as the second queen eventually does make it into their taxis. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh god. Okay, okay. Thankfully he noticed in time to pull back with the overlords. I saw like the worst fate possible where the Void Rays just found full overlords and focused them down.
Yes, and he's focusing down the high energy one. The Ravager Biles does force the Void Rays back, and these queens, they are coming, but like there's just, it's providing so much time for cannons and shield batteries, and just quite a nice defense here out of Rhizer. I'm not sure if Flood really has much of a leg to stand on.
We'll see. I mean, he does take out some of the stack defense at the third base, which is nice, but he's looking to try and push into the main. Oh, the highest energy queen does get focused down.
Yes, and another of the drop orders goes down. The micro potential is decreasing rapidly here for Flood. He still has quite a large army, so this is very, very scary. And ooh, nice Ravager Biles. Unfortunately, none of them hit.
Yeah, none of them do land. They do force the Void Ray back, though, and it does allow him to maybe send some Lings into the third base, but he needs to do more than this.
Yeah, I feel like if he got like a third base kill, then he would be in a nice position, but he gets one Void Ray, which is really, really massive. However, he's starting to lose his queens, though, and he's running out of energy.
Oh yeah, no more transfuses left. It is just the DPS available for these queens, and now they're going to be focused down.
Yeah, a really nice job. Oh, really good Biles, connecting on quite a large number of the Void Rays, and more of them going down. Unfortunately, there just isn't quite enough anti-air here for this Protoss army, or for the Zerg army, excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. All the queens are going to go down. The army is forced back, and we were talking about it, right? Like, you know, killing a third base at least, and that's okay, but like, the third was left completely alone. I don't even think he lost that many workers there.
One positive is on the other side of things. He is Flood, that is on 70 drones and has a fourth base up, and so like he's in a nice position to go into that late game. However, he does not have the tech for it. Like he has Hydras, yeah, but you really kind of want like Lurkers and Vipers really at this stage of the game, because you want to be upgrading to the tech, and like his fourth base might even get deeped down by these Void Rays.
Exactly, like the Hydras are on the way, but they were not ready whatsoever. Only 4 queens available, so that fourth base did go down, and that was one of the things that Flood was banking on, right? That was going his way, and it was taken away from him.
Yeah. A bit unfortunate by Flood to not quite have his anti-air set up in time to defend the fourth base, but he still has a nice drone count. He still has the fourth base on the way, and he's even taking the fifth base, which I really like. If this fifth base gets up unscouted, I feel like Flood will be in a really good position.
That's the key word, if it goes unscouted, because the Void Rays are headed right to the bottom right-hand side of the map, and they are going to find that base. It is going to be at least cancelled. Okay.
Oof. Okay, that had me nervous for like half a second, like, oh, he's going to not cancel, but no, he does cancel it. And the drone sets to be pulled, and then the third base is getting focused down, but there's so many Hydras here. Is this really worth it?
I think 2 Void Rays went down for the base. Oh, recall is used, and he will be able to escape. Yeah, Void Rays are pretty good.
Yeah, one thing that's been going on while we've been missing is the March of the Queens. And so there is once again going to be a fight here on this side of the map, and I'm just not sure if Rhizer has quite enough here to defend it.
Yeah, we shall see. There is a bunch of sack events being thrown down at the fourth base, but none of it is ready so far. Ooh, nice force fields, kind of stemming the tide of the queens, but they are going to be piled down.
A really nice job by Flood to get his army forward, and he also split up his army so that, oh, but that's such a juicy storm. So many, just amazing storms doing so much damage. However, there's just such a big army here out of Flood.
Yeah, those were the juiciest of storms, and so far the Void Rays are still standing strong. Overcharge is used as well. There isn't that much on the ground, but oh, and he doesn't dodge the bile either.
Yeah, really nice Biles connecting. Oh, another one hitting perfectly there. But I just don't think there's enough anti-air left out of Flood, and he dealt quite a lot of damage, but now there's a fourth base up, and you hate to be the Zerg. You're like, oh, it's so close. If I just like 1 or 2 more things, or if I backed up and just got in the fourth base, like either would have been good. But like just trading army for army, I don't think was quite the play for Flood.
It's always rough to see when the Zerg player, you make that decision, okay, I'm going to go for the throat. I'm not going to go for the guaranteed damage. I'm going to try and end the game. And it doesn't pan out. And now, like, the regret sets in. Like, oh my god, now he has a 4th base. All those drones have been mining the entire time as well. And you can't do anything to stop it.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate. And there is, there's always potential for Flood to come back. Like, if he techs up to, like, lurkers, and maybe gets like a hive, then I feel like he definitely will be in a nice position. But just like ramming Roach Hydra into High Templar Voidra, I don't think is going to be his way back into this game, as there's a massive Zealot Warp in on the other side of the map.
Oh my god, yeah, the War Prism did sneak across, and now the Zealots do force the army back once again. And I agree in that, like, when it comes to Roach Ravager Hydra, it feels like every push is a little bit weaker. It's a little bit weaker, and the Protoss is a little bit stronger every time, you know? Like, the Protoss has more High Templar, has more Storm. Now the shield batteries and cannons are done as well. It's gonna be that much harder to get some damage done.
Yeah, and he is making really nice moves. There isn't a whole lot here at this 3rd base. And so with the super battery, though, it's gonna be very, very hard to get a whole lot done here. Although it is used very early on in the fight, and this is really, really nice by both players to take just quite a clean engagement, but so many juicy storms, though.
Exactly. The storms do land in the end. The majority of the army does go down. There are a couple of Hydras left, and he's trying to stutter step up the ramp, but the Biles are landing.
A really nice job to maximize his Biles. Well, unfortunately, I just don't quite think there's enough here for Flood to hang on. There's just so many Zealots being warped in, and is just not quite having the Hydras on the other side of the map. He is building up an army. If you do notice, he is a Lurker Den finishing up right now. Oh, he cancels Lurker Den.
Oh god, I don't know what prompted him to do that. He cancels Lurker Den and he actually starts a Baneling Nest instead. Maybe thinking he doesn't have enough resources or time to go into Lurkers. But the thing with Flood is it feels like every single time he just barely doesn't have enough. Like, his fights are pretty good. Like, I'm surprised that previous engagement went as well as it did for him. It just barely wasn't enough.
You know, if you just like, I feel like one time, if you just like, storms were a little less juicy, or like one thing went slightly more Flood's way. In any one of these like 4 or 5 engagements they've had so far, I feel like Flood would have won this game. But Rhizer's just barely managing to clutch it out time and time again. And now it's going to be a 5-base Protoss to a 4-base Zerg, and that's not what you want to see in the morning.
Exactly, and I'm surprised actually there are 2 War Prisms out right now. It looks like there's a bit of a drop in the main base. At the same time, there's a War Prism on the right hand side, almost barely taken out, but it does manage to warp in as well.
Yes, and did the alright, never mind. Sorry, I thought for a second that the Zealots had gotten the Baneling Nest somehow, but the Baneling Nest is still alive at the 3rd, and so Flood still has the potential for Banelings, and could even get Baneling speed if he wanted. But man, just like, Rhizer's in just such a clean position, and you never want to be down bases versus a sky tossing Protoss.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got all these Banelings, but he still doesn't have Baneling speed. He has to wait until that finishes, and by the time Baneling speed finishes, like, carriers are already on the way. 2 carriers are already out, and now is not the time to be fighting.
Exactly. Just the Banelings there aren't quite got the speed, and so it's so easy to storm them all down. Those storms will be super juicy, and this War Prism, it is ready for warp something in. However, is it going to go down to the Hydras? I think it will, as Rhizer not quite able to deal with it. Massive Baneling butt run on the other side of the map, though, getting quite a large number of probes. How many was that?
Yeah, decent chunk of probes. I think 7 probes went down there, so nicely done. But as all that was happening, DTs are on the way as well. I mean, finally, Flood has taken control of his side of the map. He's finally been able to deal with all those War Prisms, which is great. But we were in this predicament in game number 1, where he's got Hydra Ling Bane against carriers and Storm. Like, why did he have to cancel that Lurker then? You know, like, it's like, yes, that's what you need, but.
You know, I would have loved to see the Lurker Den as, the DTs get cleaned up right away that were hitting the right side of the map. I don't think there were any other DTs. No, there are quite a large number of DTs, but none of them on Flood's side of the map, as the 5th base does go up nicely, but, like, I don't think waiting for more Banelings is the play here, Flood. I feel like he needed to go for that Lurker tech as Spine Crawlers are being made, and just like, I don't know about this one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll see. Maybe the perfect engagement happens. Maybe. We do see the DTs are heading across the map to that lower right-hand side of the map. They don't find anything there. Flood has eyes on it though, so he's looking to clean it up. But that is a bit of a distraction because the main army is clearing up that creep in the center of the map. Plenty of carriers, High Templar as well. No mothership this time, and the Ling Bane is trying to get us around.
Oh, but such juicy storms. All of the Ling Bane basically gets deleted. And there's even more storms left over for the Hydras. Lots of Zealots warping in. However, this is a pretty good fight for Flood, trading out okay, but is it good enough? I don't think so.
That's the thing, like, he cleaned up the storms, which is great with his Ling Bane, but now you have to answer, like, the carriers, you know? He's pushing on forward, not just the carriers, but he has a decent supporting army behind it to help protect it against the Hydras, and I don't know if Flood is going to have enough to just stop this push.
Warping in High Tempo on the other side of the map, making more Archons. These Archons are, like, nice, and they're just, like, kind of in-your-face eye. You hate to see Archons warping in that close to you.
Yeah.
As the Interceptors are starting to go down and thin out, and so, like, a Flood maybe can try and drag this out, but, like, how's he going to deal with this, like, massive ground army?
That's the question. There are a couple of links trickling in, a couple of reinforcements for Flood, but the Hydra count is getting thinned out. It's getting lower and lower, and it looks like with this reinforcement of Zealots, GG gets cold.
Oh man, what a game, what a series. Like,
Flood had so much potential. He has like, he didn't play poorly. Like, despite his army composition, he was keeping up, and I do want to praise him a little bit. We were pointing it out earlier. Like, his pushes were so close to just ending the Protoss, right? Like,
yeah, I feel like if Rhizer had made like even one like very tiny mistake, like maybe he lost a zealot or two, and had to make an extra zealots early on, or like maybe just one thing goes slightly more Floods away, and we have and Flood is the winner of that game, and we're casting game 3. But we do have, I believe it is a ZVT in our hands, El Clasico of Mogar versus Flood. So do you have any predictions for that, for the All Canada Derby?
The problem is that we haven't seen much from Mogar, unfortunately. The two games that we saw from Mogar so far were 2 all-ins, like, like 1 2-base all-in and 1 1-base all-in, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that was a completely different matchup as well. So, I have no idea what to expect here.
Yeah, I personally will be rooting for Mogar here. I really would like to see him do well. And I believe this game decides who goes on in the group.
Yes, as first place is Rhizer, as we can see on the screen right now. He has won both of his series 2-0, as well as that walkover as well over Albino, so he does come out first in this group. Second is a little bit more up in the air, so this may determine that.
Yes, in fact, I believe it will determine that. As do you want to count us in, Lice? Because I am ready.
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
And we have in the top right-hand corner, spawning in as the teal Terran player, sending out a really early SCV. Give it up for Mogar.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his countryman, his fellow Canadian. We have the Blue Zerg player representing Risen from the Gosu. It is Flood.
You know, the win rate of 2 proxy 2 racks, that's proxy 3 racks, has to be absolutely insane in tournament play. I've never seen the strategy lose.
So I guess Mogar does nothing but cheese. that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at today.
You know, every game I've seen today from Mogar has been a cheese, and so, you know, that isn't an incorrect assumption to pull. As we do have the 3rd racks going down, and I don't think that the Overlord is heading over to scout that out. If you see, it's going to, believe it, stop at the top of the ramp and just sit there. And so Flood not risking scouting in the wrong direction and missing the racks. Instead, he's going to play a bit of a tighter defense just at the top of the ramp. And I'm curious how this game goes.
Yeah. So this does mean that Flood will have a heads up once the SCVs come over, or if they come over, to throw down some bunkers. So he will have that, but of course he has no earlier notification or heads up that this rush is coming his way. Oh my god, even throwing down the supply depot across the map.
Yeah, Mogar is super committed. He's like, as committed as you really can be. He doesn't have a wall up the top of his ramp. There's just like so many things that like can go wrong for him as the Overlord does start to wander a bit farther forward. And I'm really curious to see what Flood is going to do when he sees, hey, there's no natural and like things are looking weird.
I've honestly never seen a Terran player this committed before with a proxy 3-vax. Like, I always see at least a wall on top of the ramp in the main, right? But he doesn't care at all.
You know, he no cares in the world. The bunker initially going down, and Flood is even trying to take a third base as the natural just like immediately given up, basically. Single spine crawler going down, but will it be enough?
He pulls the boys, you know, trying to make sure that hatchery does stay alive long enough. A couple of lings are on the way as well. The queen is still in production. She just has to bide his time a little bit. Oh, he has to be careful with that bunker. It finishes. It's gonna finish.
Yeah, it looks like the bunker is going to finish, but he's trying to dive on that spine crawler. The spine crawler really is the key to the defense here. And if the spine crawler goes down, I feel like it does get canceled. And that's going to cause quite a number of problems for Flood here.
Yeah, definitely the queen goes down as well. The Marines, they dive into the safety of the bunker, and he's forced back into his main. Oh, God.
Yeah, Mogar, there are spine crawlers up, but maybe you can like wander around them. Yeah. It looks like you might be able to get the spawning pool.
Exactly, like he can just circle around into the mineral line. He doesn't have to commit to facing that spine. Meanwhile, he is forced back a little bit. You know, a couple of lings do pull him towards that natural, but I mean, he's just going to finish it off.
Yeah, no, really nice job. And he even saves the Marines and denies both the Zerglings from getting across the map. So there's no running by the wall-less ramp for Flood. As the natural does go down, loses a Marine or two to the Broodlings, that's what the word is. But there's just still so many Marines here. This makes me nervous.
Yeah, that it does. Oh, both spines do uproot, so they're not attacking. One of them almost gets focused down. The boys are pulled.
Oh man, this is so close. I feel like if he loses like both his spine crawlers, then Flood's going to be in a really bad position here. This already isn't amazing because you can hit the hatchery now.
Yeah.
And I believe something has to happen now.
Exactly.
This is do or die for the third.
Oh god, all the lings go down. The drones are all going to go down. GG gets called.
The win rate of Proxy 2-Racks / Proxy 3-Racks in tournaments has to be absolutely insane. I've never seen the strategy lose.
I just want to give Flood a hug after seeing that. Ay. Mogar takes game 1.
What a game 1 it was. Hey, you know, I believe we were, was it 2 weeks ago? We were harping on Terran for not proxying more.
Yeah.
And you know, hey, we're getting some proxies and they're winning, so maybe we were right and you should just proxy every game.
Yeah, at least if you're Mogar, like that. What a game 1. It was incredibly committed, and yeah, just a little bit of mistakes there from Flood, right? Like in the end he lost like 2 spines without them really dealing much damage at all. He lost his queen and his natural as well, and it really didn't accomplish much either. Like he was like a couple of mistakes here and there really ended up adding up towards the end.
Yeah, a little unfortunate, but it is such a hard thing to defend Proxy 2-Racks and Proxy 3-Racks. Your defense has to be so tight, and if you don't know which it is, because you will do it the wrong defense, because like pulling drones and like getting a spine crawler natural and all that is 100% correct response if you're getting Proxy 2-Racks. But because it was a Proxy 3-Racks, you need to give up the natural and like go for Ravagers or something like that. Yeah. So just like guessing wrong on the 50-50 costs Flood game number 1.
That it does, and we'll see what Mogar has in store for us in game number 2, because I wouldn't be surprised if he stays on 1 base. Are you ready?
I am indeed. You want to count us in?
Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning into the top left-hand corner of the map. It is your teal Terran player. Give it up for MogarFNSMASH.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Risen from the Ghost, already down 0-1 in this best of 3. It is Flood. Rax is in the main.
You know, I'm shocked.
Is this really Mogar? Are we?
Yeah, like, did Mogar like actually like, oh hey, I have a phone call. Hey little brother, can you like play this game for me? I have to like go take a phone call. Yeah, no, just like do something and like play standard. This isn't the Mogar we know and love.
Oh god. To be fair, we have seen Mogar go for big 2-base all-ins, so that this, you know, he could be transitioning into something like that instead.
Yes.
What I will say is a really bold move here by Flood, still going for that hatch first, like going for the still stock standard economic opening.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like it's just like saying, hey, I think I am better than you, so I'm just gonna do like the standard thing. I will channel my inner Serral and do one build for a whole year, and just win every tournament regardless. But this time around, it hasn't quite worked. He did get proxy route game number 1. And so this time around, I feel like, I don't know, this is going to be an interesting one out of Flood. I feel like he really has to like take this game and like do something aggressive, or at least I would feel like I have to do that. Maybe he's just going to play the macro game, but I would love to see some like 41 or 38 drone Ravager lane all in out of Flood this game.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see if he whips something like that out, or if he feels more confident in that macro game. Which I don't think he looked poorly in when it comes to his series versus Rhizer. So we'll have a look at that. We do see that there were some things influenced by game number 1. If you noticed his Overlord scouting pattern, he actually went all around like the sides of his base, making sure there wasn't a proxy. So, you know, he was kind of making sure that there wasn't anything too cheeky going on.
They're missing only like one very small spot, but it's very easy to skip that spot. And if you proxied it in the one spot he missed, like you just, at that point, you like just give up. It's not your day. But the Reaper is showing, hey, this is a standard game from both sides. As we do have, is this the 2-1-1?
Oh my. I haven't, it's been a while since I've seen a 2-1-1.
Yeah, no, like it's been coming back, and like sort of trendy. I've seen a couple of like CC first variants that get you like an extra 6 SCVs or something. I believe the number is. But like, man, 2-1-1 and just like classic 2014, like did poke bunny, like Mogar call it poke bunny and say, hey, what's a good build? And poke bunny respond like, why not just 2-1-1 into 2-base hell, you've got this.
Yeah, and this could hit a little bit harder as well. Like Flood did take like the vertical third, which is a little bit more exposed, I believe. So maybe like a marine push could deal more damage here. We'll wait and see. The other big thing is that because Flood like a prioritized scouting for a proxy, like his Overlord is only just now getting across the map. Oh, but he does have pneumatized carapace.
Yes, that Overlord speed is gonna allow Flood to get in and see, hey, you're going 2-1-1. And even if he like comes back later on in the game, see, hey, you're going like a 2-base all-in versus, oh, you're taking a third ZC, and like just getting all the info is gonna be really nice. But Flood, seeing all those Marines, you have to know something's up.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like all those Marines, it signifies that there was no like Hellion factory production, which means it wasn't a 1-1-1. All things point to at least a 2-1-1. I know there are like maybe 3 Rex varieties as well, but yeah, he should have the information he needs.
Yes, and I really like this. He does have queens. He's getting his forward creep, and the one really nice thing about this base is it really kickstarts your group spread. Like the downside is you're a bit weaker to like tank pushes and the like, just because you're so far forward. However, the Kickstarter group spread, if he doesn't like die super early on, is going to be super nice.
Definitely. As we do see, he's starting to ramp up into things, throwing down 2 Evo chambers as well. No Baneley Nest quite yet. We'll see if he is able to defend against that 2-1-1 without it, with just pure Lings and Queens, but he's making a wave of 16 Lings. He should have plenty. Yeah,
just with this many Lings and Queens, it should be all right. Now the Queens and Lings, they're starting to focus down the rocks, which is very nice. But Mogar is kind of defending the rocks and maybe going to try and get some group spread or something, because I feel like he's setting up for a very aggressive follow-up as he starts to back up and maybe hits the high ground.
Yeah, again, like this is like his third CC is incredibly late. Mogar, that is, like he's still focusing on his production building, throwing down another Rax. So he's looking to find some kind of damage here, and he's gonna get some creep, but we'll see if he can get much else.
Yeah, there's just such a, it's so, the Zergs really have figured out the perfect response to 2-on-1. And the lack of super early carapace will cause some problems for our Zerg hero Flood, but like still, this is just like such a nice position to be in if you're Mogar. Because you get, cause like all the creep spread over here will be denied, and you can like really get siege takes on the high ground and like push in, although the fourth base is really far away.
Very interesting fourth. I've not seen a Zerg player expand like Flood is, but at the same time the Marines stepped forward and killed 2 queens.
Yeah, and forcing out a couple of transfuses as well. Really nice job by Mogar to maximize what he can do as the rocks once again are starting to get focused down.
Yeah, this is really smart. Like, I wouldn't know this because I have this map vetoed, I'll be honest. But I love the way he's dealing with this, making sure that the follow-up tank push doesn't have the benefit of those rocks.
Yeah, and Flood also scouting the tank push is coming. And the one thing about this base is if you can clear all the rocks away before Terran can really do much of any push, then defending this third base and consequently this fourth base is going to be so much easier. Just because there really isn't a good place to hide your siege tanks anywhere else other than behind those rocks.
Yeah.
As don't even finish with 70 health left. Ooh.
He should be able to finish it though whenever he needs to. We do see Mogar is rotating all the way to the southern section of the map, already up the ramp. The creep spread is pretty limited here, and bailing speed is not on the way.
I know, no bailing speed, and so it's just going to be slow bains. And so with really nice micro, Mogar still in a nice position. As he is stimming forward, he's slowly super spread out, and I really like what he's doing here. I'm just like slow push in, like, yeah, you are on a bit of a timer, but it's good. You just have to take a good engagement. As here we go.
Yeah, the Lings and the slow banes are waddling in. The Lings are getting on top of all the tanks, and despite the nice splits, there's just an overwhelming amount of Ling Bane.
Just not quite good shots on those Banelings. If the Banelings had gone down, then there was the case we made to maybe he can like really take that fight and take a good fight. But unfortunately, there just like quite wasn't, as a lot of the reinforcements were at home dealing with a Ling run by that forced the walls to stay shut.
Yeah, exactly, and only just now Mogar is expanding and taking his third base. Meanwhile, would be surprised if Flood throws down a fourth. Oh my god, he's actually throwing down a Spire.
That makes me nervous. It is just like, I feel like after seeing a 2-on-1 and just seeing like, oh, I know you're going bio. Like, I really like to go for myself just like straight up into Hive. Just like play Ling Bane, play that defense. And the Spire, like you can really win game, but it is so late that I feel like you have to like deal an insane amount of damage, or you just like can very easily get run over, especially considering there are 5 additional rocks on the way for Mogar.
Yeah, like the Raxes in the main is just insane, and so many Marines are going to be coming out here. I agree, like I'm not too fond of the Spire myself. Like whenever I have an opportunity to, I love going straight into Hive, going straight into Ultras or something like that. But I mean, we'll see how Flood does here. He is pretty far ahead, you know, like establishing this 5th base is huge for him.
Exactly, and he's trading really well here too against these slow Banelings, really not able to do much of anything. But eventually, you know, with the Queens here, I feel like Mogar does have to back up a little bit, but like keeping that pressure on, like trying to prevent too many mutas from getting up. And Mogar, I feel like, is in an okay position, but he is on a little bit of a timer.
Yeah, I also just realized that Mogar, okay, here we go, he's looking to boost into the main. I was gonna say that he hasn't really done much scouting whatsoever. He's barely seen anything when it comes to the other bases of Flood. I just realized that in Mogar's head, like, he may not realize that Flood is on 5 bases. Like, he hasn't seen the top right-hand side of the map at all.
You know, I feel like it's a good guess to make, like, oh, he must have taken and expanded the other way, but still, like, just like, he was so set up and like pressure, I'm going to pressure this bottom half of the map. So like maybe he just like hadn't gotten like, oh hey, if he expands elsewhere, I might have to do something different.
Yeah.
And he's rotating around now, but like, so this is just like Very, very. I feel like he could have done this sooner.
Yeah, definitely, right? Like, especially that northern base was exposed for the longest time, but now there's creep all over the place just to notify Flood if a drop does head in that direction. At the same time, there's this thing run by at the third base. There's plenty of reinforcements here, though.
Yeah, really nice job by Mogar to keep his reinforcements ready, and he doesn't stim too much. Like, it's really easy to just, like, F2 stim, like, oh no, I'm being attacked. And, like, that's absolutely massive damage for the Zerg player, but, like, keeping his head cool. And if he can take one really good fight, I feel like Mogar can very easily win this game. This game will come down to who wins the next fight.
Definitely.
I feel like.
I mean, thankfully for luckily for Mogar, like the creep spread here on the left-hand side has much to be desired. So it's, you know, it is okay for him, but oh, there is that kind of overstay. But so many mutas just run to their deaths.
Oh no, losing so many mutas. That's really not what you want to see. There's a massive flank being set up though, and
oh god,
Mogar. Oh no, he's getting Banelings from both sides. Not like this.
Oh, the surround just eats the entire Terran army up.
Oh, what a fight from Flood. Just like absolutely the perfect 360 surround. Mogar losing so much supply, and he's now down like 60 supply. That is not what you want to see when you're doing a 3-base all-in. First ace, now 6-base Terran for Zerg.
Exactly, and I'm part of me still thinks that Mogar is still unaware of the bases on the right-hand side of the map. Like, oh god! At the same time, there's a Bane run by at the third. Mogar loses every single one of his SCVs. He's completely 100% all in. He has to try and end the game here, but as you said, he's down 70 supply.
Yeah, no, and the Banelings, they are getting focus fire by the siege tanks, which is really nice. Unfortunately, there just isn't enough of like really splash to truly contest the Zerg army.
Yeah.
And Mogar, he just has to have perfect splits, I feel like, from here on out.
And then, you know what? They're pretty good. Not gonna lie, they are pretty good, but at the end of the day, he just doesn't have enough Marines. Everything is gonna get cleaned up here. Yeah, there's just too much Ling Bane.
More reinforcements are coming, so but you know, GG gets called, and that's the game. And Mogar takes a loss, and that is 1-all. We're heading into the Ace match to decide who moves on from the group.
That was like the most beautiful Ling Bane surround I've ever seen.
That was not safe for Terran.
That was 360 surround. There was no way to split. There was no way out for the Bio army.
One thing you really have to do as a Terran player is you have to like pre-split and like get your army set up to engage and fall back to. And if Mogar had like an additional like maybe 5 or 10 seconds, then I feel like he could have like gotten everything set up, and then like you see, oh, you're coming, I'll stim and like not move anything. But like unfortunately just Flood came just like a little bit too early before anything was really split, and just like having to micro backwards into his death of more Ling Bane, really painful to watch.
Oh yeah. I feel like he was pushing in the right direction. Again, like there was not much creep spread there, but at the same time, it also felt like a really awkward place to push as well. Especially because he wasn't really pushing into any fresh bases either. Or maybe the bases that he wanted to. I don't know. It was an interesting game.
Definitely an interesting game. As we do have game number 3 on Light Chain. I'm very curious to see what's going to go down this game.
Oh yeah. Is Mogar going to go back to his old ways? Are we going to see another proxy? Or is he going to try his hand at that macro once again?
I'm ready when you are, if you want to count us in.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
And we have spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE. Give it up for our teal Terran player of MogarFNSMASH.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player. He is blue. He is representing Team Risen from the Gosu. It is Flood. Oh boy, he's doing it again.
Why not? You know, the win rate of proxy 2 racks /3 racks in tournaments has to be absolutely insane. I've never seen the strategy lose.
This is the boldest proxy 3-max I've ever seen. Like, it's not hidden whatsoever. It may as well be in the natural. This is crazy.
The thing about this is it's gonna work.
It is.
If you look at the Overlord patterns,
yeah,
neither of them are like going anywhere close to that. They're like, we'll got all the far locations, but this is the one location where Flood said, all right, so I'll just give up this one location on this Overlord patterns, and it's gonna make this defense so much difficult. He's gonna have to flip a coin, and if he flips wrong, that's the game.
Like, if Flood had just sent a regular Overlord across the map to the natural, he would have seen this. Like, it would have been seen. But because Flood is taking extra care, he's not going to see it. He's getting metagamed right now, and we've seen this work before for Mogar.
And Mogar is going to be in a really interesting position. He's really waiting on his a bunker or anything. Instead, waiting he'll get a couple Marines, let everything finish, and then we'll go in. This is gonna. Oh man, poor Flood.
Yeah, Mogar, he could start at the bunker and there's no vision of it whatsoever. Like, if he had wanted to, I mean, the Overlords are going to make their way now, and they may catch a glimpse of it. Maybe not, actually. I think that it's still too far away.
They're still so far away.
Yeah.
It's coming close, but he sees it. He goes stick at third base and he sees it, and the bunker really isn't going to be there. He does get one started, but I feel like he could have started this so much sooner.
He could have, 100% he could have started it sooner. He does start it now. A couple of drones are going to go down, and immediately Flood, he starts 3 spines in his main.
I love it. Really committing to the main defense. He does send an SCV in, Mogar, that is, to scout, hey, you're going for 3 spines. Mogar knows what he's up against. He knows that, hey, I have to fight eventually 3 spine crawlers. Will it be enough? And I would love to see a bunker on the high ground for Mogar, but just nothing yet. He's focusing down that natural hatch first. Says, oh no, does he lose his SCVs? He loses all but one.
Oh yeah, he does have 1 remaining. It has low health. Same, I would love to see a bunker on the high ground. He has a very limited window to do so though, because we do have creep spread in the main.
And he is trying to cycle around, trying to get into a position where he can. And there's so many Zerglings though. And the Marines are going to have to kite back. Really nice kiting though by Mogar. And he still has that supply lead, and there's still more Marines to be made. Still has that potential.
Yeah, and the Queen goes down. The Spine is going to go down as well before it finishes ridding. Or will it? Oh god.
Losing a Spine Crawler and the Queen and all those Zerglings, that's really not what you want to see. There are more Marines being produced, and there's just they're going to be so hard. The Marines are behind the mineral line. At this point, what do you really do?
Exactly. We've seen this before. No mining whatsoever. The Spine is forced to be repositioned. The Spine is a little bit vulnerable. Link speed is done.
Yeah, and the drones are coming in. He's trying to force a bad fight for Mogar, but there's just so little here for Flood. He's on 5 drones.
Oh my god. Just okay, he cleans up, but as you said, 5 drones, and there's still more Marines on the way. This was a better. It feels like this was a better defense, but at the end of the day, again, a little bit of mistiming here and there, losing that Queen. At the moment, only 1 spine is barred. Okay, the other one does start.
Yeah, and there is a factory on the way on the other side of the map, and so now, but Flood calls it GG. He doesn't want to play out a 30-minute. Hey, I'm super behind, just because there's just so many SCVs on the other side of things, and that's the series. Mogar takes game number 3 and his spot in the up and down matches.
mLty. The win rate of proxy 3-max in competitive plays. I've never seen it lose.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And what a series, and what a group. That was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I would have to agree. GG, well played. As you said, congratulations to Rhizer for coming out first and Mogar for coming out second. Flood had some really good games, but at the end of the day, I have to say that his proxy defense just wasn't quite there.
Yes, luckily we do have more games for you guys tonight. We do have a whole nother group. Unfortunately, this group also had a couple of walkovers. There's still more gameplay for you tonight, so don't go anywhere. I believe we're going on a break next time. I'm not 100% sure. I believe that was the plan.
Yes, we will be going on a break shortly. I did want to just, I don't know if you had like any last thoughts on this group in general, on how this played out, on the players, on the games.
I'm really glad Mogar is here because I really want to see him just like do really weird, like, and somewhat aggressive all-ins all the way to like a Codes victory. That would be really nice to see eventually. But still, like Mogar, he's a good dude, so I'm glad to see him come out. But poor Flood though.
Yeah.
What a way to lose.
Feels bad, man. Especially like Flood had such good games against Rhizer as well. But there are definitely areas where he can improve, you know, whether it's defense against proxies, like those proxy raxes that we saw him fall twice to, or his late game CVP also has a little bit to be desired as well. Taking out of that Ling main Hydra. I know that is one of those pitfalls that Zerg players can be in. But regardless, that was really well played, and I hope to see more of him in the future.
Exactly, myself as well.
And as you said, you know, we have concluded Group A, and we are going to be moving on to Group B after this. So we will be going on a short 5-minute break. You know, everyone can go and get some water, hydrate their hydras, drain their disruptors. We'll be back in 5 minutes after this duct tape.